to see the seed, we get so caught up with the covering on the top. And therefore, fishes have to climb trees. Right? And then you come and say employability is not good. What employability? So let us first understand employability is not about building any skills. In case you want to write down and repeat it, employability is not about building any skills. It is about lifting the veil under which excellence is hiding. And the veil is this. Because in the industry, people don't want as much to know about your functional or your curriculum knowledge as much as they would like to see how much of learnability do you bring in, how much of adaptability do you bring in, what levels of comprehension do you bring in, what levels of expression do you bring in, and where does this all come from? Your uniqueness. Rajesh showed a clip of that film, but if you have watched that film, you know what uniqueness can do when it comes to leveraging the marketplace for employment. Anyway, so let's come to the veil. Yeah, so I was talking about myself. So somewhere I think I chose for myself that I'm going to create my own career. I didn't depend on any of these, neither the offbeat, by the way. I completed my graduation. I never liked PCM. But being a good student, what is the norm? He gets into PCM. And I repeated this in case of my son also. And later on corrected that mistake. Okay. So PCM, and I didn't like PCM to an extent. Before the physics exam, when I went to the lab assistant asked me, "Who are you?" I never attended. So, interestingly, I'm giving you some indicators. Calcutta University, very difficult those days, I don't know how it is now. I taught in organic chemistry, and I told you I didn't like studying. But organic chemistry I used to love. I took chemistry major. That was the only thing which I felt was close to my heart. Physics, maths. So, you know, up to school everything was fine. The moment I got into college, something went wrong because of the PCM bit. Organic chemistry I related to. I scored highest, but then I flunked in maths. Even today, if you ask me what is differential calculus, sorry, I'm supposed to have done differential. Painful, very painful times I have gone through. Question is, how did I make myself employable? Oops. I don't know how. My first job I landed up by walking in. And the name of the company, many of you would know, it's one of the most respected companies India has ever seen, but I never knew about that company then. The name of the company is CMC. Have you heard of the company? Later on taken over by TCS. Then it was a public sector undertaking. Was in Calcutta one day after my examinations were over, just to run away from my mother's very serious pestering that you must sit through. Actually, one secret, don't tell anyone. Huh? I sat through the entrance of chartered accountancy, got through it, wasted 3 years in article clerkship, and the day it got over, I said, I am not going to be a chartered accountant. So, to run away from the pressures, I started going out to knock at the doors of the company and see if they have a job for me. And there is this company called CMC. I similarly walked, and I wanted to meet the personal manager. And they said, we don't have a personal manager. I said, what kind of a company is this? They don't have a personal manager. Got to know much later that they were a kind of a takeover. I mean, that's it. There will be only choose. You need strength. What about Yudhishthira? Sorry? Yudhishthira was, this is called inner harmony, a cluster of values which has honesty, sincerity, truth, trust, all that. And you wonderfully said, yes, Nakul was wisdom and Sahadev was there's this college in Mangalore. I don't know how many of you have heard of it. It's a PU college, Lutz. Anyone has heard of it? No. The principal of Lutz once invited me, saying that our final year PU students, before they go out, can you please help them to understand what kind of a career they should choose? A very similar gathering, only thing is, there were 60 students, myself and my colleague, an assistant. We were trying to help them over 3 days to figure out what kind of a career they would choose. Whatever happened is captured over here. But before I go into this, I must share what happened about a year after I did that session. There's this lady, a little girl. I'm calling her lady because she has become a lady now. Her name was Nisha. She called from Mangalore. Sir, this is Nisha. Do you remember? I met you when you came to Lutz. Yes, I do remember. Sir, do you remember that you and me, we agreed that I was fit for Rajesh? Guess what? Jewelry design. That was the level of detail that we worked on. Sir, I want to share with you one good news and one bad news. So tell me the good news. I'm through with the entrance of this institution in Bombay. What is it, Rajesh? What's the name?
JDI.
Yeah.
JDI.
The bad news is my parents don't want me to go. What do your parents want you to do? Medical or dental? So I said, okay, fine, I'll talk to your parents, and then I took it. Now, that was the outcome of something like this. Now, what is it all about? It is very simple. If I need to know what is this seed all about, I need to know what is the fruit all about. So if I get to understand the achievements that an individual has already made happen, the high points of accomplishment, the fruits, then I'll be able to figure out what are some of those core abilities and values that the person comes with. And through a process of synthesis, I can figure out for myself, therefore, what potential the person carries. Don't you worry, I'm going to do a very quick demo of this right now. And once that potential is out, then comes your job. Educational institutions. As in traditional educational institutions. But the ones who are sitting here are no more going to be traditional educational institutions. You'll be doing all of this. You'll be doing discovery, synthesis, and then imparting job-related competencies and skills and experiential conceptual knowledge through internships and different summer projects and things like that. And once that has happened, you can coach and mentor them to become powerful in that area. Lutz did not stop with that. When they realized that this piece was also there, they said, we have some teachers. Can you convert them into mentors? Which was the most difficult part. And let me share with you, I came back with mixed success. It was painful because they didn't want to. That's a different story. We'll talk about that later. So, if as education institutions you can take it end to end, you can be rest assured, doesn't matter what discipline your pupils are from, they are not only employable, but they are gunning for excellence. I can vouch for that. Now, how does it happen? Any volunteer? I want one.